As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Welcome everybody. This is Jen Kwok with J29 Creative Group. We would like to welcome you to Zero to Hero. I have Mr. Paul Long here with me, and we personally believe that there is a hero in everybody, and we are out to find that, somebody that's truly making an impact on the world. So we're happy to have you on the show.
What's good? I don't know how the heck you landed on me in what you just defined, but here we are.
Absolutely. So anyways, I just wanted to say, when it comes to social media, that's something that's very, very important in the world. So why don't you tell us about your social media journey just to start off?
Well, first of all, my social media journey has been long, challenging, frustrating at times, which I'm sure that you could probably attest to or relate to. Social media is one of those things that I struggle with, me personally, because at times it feels like I'm being so narcissistic or egotistical. And so I myself am a speaker. It's what I do for a living. And so my challenge is I have to market myself consistently.
Right.
And so marketing myself means that I have to take pictures of myself, and I have to tell people what I do. And it just feels really, really grimy. So my journey has really been an internal struggle consistently about how do I post without seeming as though I'm posting to appease my own ego or personality. Right? And I haven't arrived yet, Jen, to be honest. I'm still working through that. And I will tell you that a pandemic has helped a little bit because it's forced me to throw my attention at it a little bit more and not worry so much.
Right.
But, it's ever evolving as we all are.
Absolutely. Well, I know from following you that you do a really great job of covering up that you don't know what you're doing or that you're feeling narcissistic. You make it a lot of fun, and I love watching you every day. So. Well,
thank you.
I
greatly appreciate that. If you really dig deep, because I know you and Kevin are really great at social and engaging and whatnot, but if you dig really deep, when you look at hashtags and all that stuff, I have no freaking clue what I'm doing. I literally I'm just, this is perspective, hashtag perspective. So it's not necessarily deliberate, and it just goes back to what you said. You said you wouldn't tell what you're doing or that you're having that struggle.
Right.
I think that all I'm trying to do is be authentic, right? I'm just being myself, and I think that you've probably you've connected with it because you yourself are very authentic in what you do.
Right. And that definitely is attractive, and it's also something that is very important on social media, like the actual algorithms as well are looking for that authenticity. So that probably is one thing that really makes you stand out as well. So speaking of yourself, if you were to give an elevator pitch of who you are, and I'm not talking about the business elevator pitch that we all think of, but actually who is Paul? Can you tell me that in just a few sentences?
Oh my goodness. Who is Paul? I am a master of shenanigans. And I know that you said let's remove business, but recently somebody asked on a social media post in the morning, what is it that your kids think you do for a living?
Okay.
And I thought, what an awesome opportunity to engage with our 7-year-old daughter, little Adeline Grace. And so I said, what do you think Dad does for a living? And she says, well, you speak and you help people have fun in life. So when you ask me, who are you or what are you about?
Right.
I'm lucky to have found a place of freedom in my career where my personal life is my career.
Mm-hmm.
I reveal the opportunity that I myself, my family, loved ones, and all with whom I interact, the opportunity that there is to have a little more fun in life.
So your family gets to enjoy the benefits of who you are and what you do, basically.
Well,
You bring that into your everyday like family life, and
I try to, but you could probably relate as a mother of two,
Yes.
that sometimes the people that we want to shower with love and fun the most, they don't get it enough. And so what I will say is, for what you experience as an individual that I cross paths with every so
Yes.
often,
Yes.
for the most part, I'm fun like that at home consistently. But we all have bad days. We all have stressors. And so when you're in the midst of a pandemic and your revenue has been, made nil or kaput,
Yes.
maybe the fun isn't as readily accessible, but it's there, definitively.
Absolutely. Well, and I understand that if this is something that you're doing every day in a corporate setting, when you come home, sometimes you just want to let down that smile, relax those muscles, and kind of have that downtime. I'm guessing. I mean, I know. Okay, so
I don't know.
So you're
I mean,
fun all the time.
Well,
pretty
I
much.
guess we're talking two different things. So you said
Yeah.
relax that face, let down that smile. I mean,
Right.
it's just a different smile, right?
Right.
Like you see your children, we see
Right.
our children,
Right.
and we get the opportunity to play a board game or, watch a show that we could collectively appreciate together, or our son Brennan Royal will say something silly. It's just a different level of fun. And I think that's what's important in what I do both personally and professionally is I'm not trying to get anybody to be my fun.
Right.
I'm trying to reveal their fun and get them
Right.
to self-discover what that looks like for them.
Right.
So my fun is different with whoever I'm hanging out with. I mean, I could have fun on the golf course. I could have fun with the kids. I could have fun with the wife. It's defined differently, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. No, it kind of reflects who you're with. And
Sure.
I love that. I love that. So you can adjust to that very easily. So speaking of superheroes, since we're kind of doing the zero to hero theme here, what is basically every superhero has a defining moment. So for example, I'm sure, have you watched Aquaman?
I have.
So Aquaman's defining moment is kind of where he's like, I'm the king.
Yes.
And I need to not only be a king, but actually go and protect my people. Like, it's time for me to rise up and take that, even if that's not something I want to do or was originally thinking. So what is your defining moment in your journey of doing, what do you call it, fundalism?
Fundamism.
Fundamism,
Yeah.
okay. What is your defining moment?
Well, one of my defining moments is realizing that from a marketing standpoint, I didn't create a word that everybody could pronounce.
Oh, yes. I'm always like fundalism.
Exactly, and you're not the only one, Jim. Like, are you that fundamentalism guy? I'm like, no, that's not me. But nevertheless, defining moment.
Yes.
This is when I was asked to prepare for this show. I was asked, do you want the questions in advance? And I said no, because I like the opportunity to showcase an authentic version.
Right.
And so if indeed I prepare, if I have the questions in advance, I think sometimes we put too much thought into it, right? And we give canned response, and it seems very marketing-esque instead
Yes.
of just our genuine selves.
Yes, I agree.
Jen, I don't know that I'm going to provide you the best answer on this one because I can't point to one defining moment in my life. I think that it has definitively been a journey. And so, like I mentioned before, one thing that I struggle with is when I'm on stage, I see a lot of speakers that do like the panning version of their iPhone where they have, hey, say something to the camera, a Ric
Yes.
Flair, woo, or
I
whatever
have
it may
seen
be.
that. Yes.
For me, I feel so awkward doing that because I don't feel present with the individuals that I'm talking with.
Right, right.
And so when you ask me that defining moment, I mean, struggling with that in my head and trying to find a way to combat that is a defining moment. Like, how do I market myself in a manner that gets people to see that I really do care about enhancing your quality of life or getting
Right.
you to reveal what that looks like for you?
Right.
Versus the narcissistic, egotistical version of I need to be on stage and I need this energy. That said, that feels good. Like, it feels good to know that you've done a good job, like
Yes.
you in a marketing campaign or
Yes.
as a mother, right? Like, when you get that pat on the back, you're like, hell yeah, I did the dang thing, right?
Yes.
But I think at the end of the day, it goes back to, what are you really doing it for? What are your guiding principles? So the defining moment for me is probably when, even though it's not one, when my wife told me, as I'm crying on her shoulder, working for corporate America,
We've all been there.
man, drinking every night, living in Portland, Oregon, not present with a brand new baby girl, and just miserable in my head, right? Always in my head. We could all relate to that. She says, the world needs fundamentalism, but you need it more. And I support you in whatever that looks like. So I gave my 2 weeks the very next day, Jen, and I quit, not knowing what fundamentalism looked like. We moved back to Kansas City, and I threw all of my energy into this concept that at the time I didn't know what was. I didn't know whether I was a speaker, a consultant. I didn't know if I was an author, a podcaster. I didn't know that any of that stuff existed. I just knew that what I was doing was not making me happy or making me feel fulfilled. So that is a defining moment in my career or life, but not the defining moment.
That's definitely an awesome one, and that actually makes me wonder, when did the term fundamentalism come into your vocabulary? Because to me I love that one. I feel that is like very raw and authentic, and actually when you made the transition. But where did fundamentalism actually begin in your vocabulary?
Well, first of all, progress. You got it. You said it.
Yes.
So that was an interesting journey in that I've always been extroverted, and you could relate to, because you said you're the female version of me.
I'm the female version.
I've always been loud, obnoxious, and not necessarily focused, like just a beacon of energy, if you will.
Right.
And so in corporate America, people would always ask, are you always this way? Are you always so overwhelming? And for the most part, I am. And I was doing some consulting for AT&T at the time. I was working with a gentleman by the name of Chad. And him and I we were talking about this energy, whatever this is.
Right.
And he says, it seems like you do things a little more deliberately than you give yourself credit for. And I said, I do. And so he said, well, what can that be defined as? And I said, I don't know. They're my core fundamentals. This is how I live my life.
Right, exactly.
I believe in fun, right? And so if you think about that, well, fundamentals, fun.
Yes.
And I'm quite optimistic.
Yes.
In this AT&T call center, all of a sudden those three words got blended together, fundamentals, fun, optimistic, into fundamism.
Fundamism.
And it just organically bared its ugly head, or beautiful head, if that's what you're into.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. So, so that could be also a very defining moment of actually defining, what is this energy?
Yes.
What is this part of me, and how can I describe it and then put it out to the world? So that's
100%.
awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, what are attributes that would basically make up a hero? Like, how would you describe the attributes of a hero that best relates to you?
Sure.
Also, who would that be? So, like, we have our little guys here. I don't think we have the whole set of superheroes that we know them as today, but
Yeah, I was sitting here looking at all of these individuals, and of course we got Iron Man and Thor, Spidey. We got a little bit of Batman action,
I don't know if
and
he's
Thanos. Yeah, I don't know if he's a superhero or just a super villain,
yeah.
but he has superpowers,
Yes,
right?
he does.
Super strength.
Yes, that he stole.
So that he stole, yes. So as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking a superhero. What's a superhero mean to me? I think that for me, a superhero is defined as somebody that could be selfless.
Okay.
Because all of these superheroes minus Thanos they have all something in common, in that when there was a need or a necessity to help somebody else out,
Right.
they set aside their fear of failure. They set aside their ego, i.e., Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man. They set aside whatever their thought of what a potential outcome, and they threw themselves at offering value to somebody that needed it. So a superhero to me can be defined as somebody that is selfless, that puts others first, and can set aside their fears and ego and desired outcomes to ensure that the people around them are safe or comfortable or happy or fulfilled. For me,
That's an awesome answer.
well,
That's great.
thank you. I need more of you in my life, Jen. For me, that individual, you mentioned defining moments, was a gentleman by the name of Noah Wilson, who I had the opportunity to meet when he was 6 and I was 32, and it was during the 2014 World Series run. And this kid at the age of 6 was diagnosed with a very rare form of pediatric cancer called Ewing sarcoma. And I can only imagine myself being diagnosed with cancer at the age of 32, how selfish I'd probably be.
Yeah.
How in my head I would be, woe is me, right? We think about all that stuff and why me, and how am I going to get through this? And this boy at the age of 6 set himself and what he was going through aside and threw his energy at a 501c3 called Noah's Bandage Project. And actually created a charity
Yes.
that started collecting bandages for children going through the struggle, because he realized that that a bandage to you and I, Jen, is just something that covers a wound.
Right.
But to a child going through the struggle, it's something that says, you know, I've seen the darkness, I've seen something terrible, and I was courageous enough to make it through the other side. So this young boy is a hero in my eyes, and to this day, even though we lost young Noah, he lost his battle with death, like we all will. He won his battle with life, because he created a lasting legacy and a charity meant for showering others with kindness and joy and fun and love. And to this day, we've got a grant to Children's Mercy in the amount of $1 million, a commitment that we're well on our way of fulfilling, and we've collected over 6 million individual bandages for children across the world.
And that's Fundamism.
Well, no, that's all Noah's Bandage Project, but I am the president of the board.
Okay.
So I take 0 credit in Noah's vision.
Yes.
But I take a lot of credit in being a partner of amazing people like Scott Wilson, Deb Wilson, parents of young Noah, and the board. And individuals like Danny Duffy, who have donated or has donated $100,000 to combat pediatric cancer every year for the last 3 years. And there's just so many people that are involved.
Definitely amazing, because I know that people in that place, though I haven't been there myself, those bandages are a constant.
Yeah.
There's something that they see all the time and are changing out constantly, and that's just amazing to me. And that that you have something put in place. Definitely also amazing to me that he could start something that cool at 6.
Right.
Like, I wish I could start something that cool at my age.
Right.
We won't go there.
Well, that's what we're doing now. 0 to hero, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. So, so love it. And I think my last question for you really would be just, me personally being curious, which one of our superheroes would you identify yourself with? So I love that we have the human aspect.
Sure.
Now, which of these imaginary people?
So whenever anybody asks a question, they say, think about it. I'm a firm believer that the first thing that comes to your mind is the right answer.
I agree with that.
And for one reason, this one jumps out at me. I like Spider-Man because he's zany,
Yes.
he's silly, he's witty,
Yes.
he's very funny, and I like his vibe. If you think about all the Spider-Men throughout time, the most current one, what's his name? He is
Toby, is it? No, not Toby.
Tom Holland. Tom Holland.
Thank you.
Tom
Hayden.
Holland is amazing. I love his character. I love his vibe. I love his energy. But I also like Spider-Man's informal nature. I love his powers are awesome. He seems to me to be the most authentic of all of the superheroes that I know.
Yes.
And as a result, I relate to that.
Well, I personally like that because he is very lightweight on his feet. Like, he's very light on his feet, and to me that registers to me as fun.
Yes.
Lighthearted, lightweight. We're going.
I see what you did there. Nicely done. Fundimism.
Right? Fundimism. So thank you everybody for being with us on this show today, Zero to Hero. It's been lovely talking with you, Paul, and just getting to know you better and seeing how you went from zero to hero.
Oh, well, let's be clear. If we're closing this up, I am no hero by any means. When I look at people like Noah Wilson and individuals out there really creating a better world, those are the true heroes. I'm just a guy trying to navigate my own journey and figure out how I can maximize the impact on others. So greatly appreciate it.
Yes.
If there's a middle ground between zero and hero, I think that's where I fall right now. Maybe with this, it'll take me one step further, right?
Yes. Yes. Well, we love the fundamentalism that you are bringing
Thank
to
you.
the world, to corporate America, but also just to individuals. As we follow you on social media, our lives are impacted, and then you helping this young kid to make his dream a reality even after he's gone. So thank you so much for that.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
being
the
here.
opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you.